Since I'm basically just revealing all my secrets now, I'm gonna go through how I did the effect in my Halloween video with all the glass boxes and kind of like how to make a glass box that's 3D without killing yourself. So I have lovely Jasmine here who I'm going to put in a box as you do. So to start off, we're gonna make a new composition, and don't really have to do this, but I find it's easier when we make boxes in 3D shapes. I want to make it an actual square, so I'm just gonna make sure that the height and width are the same, and not 7 seconds. Let's just make that like 1 second. Okay, so I have my cube, and then from here, I'm gonna make a new solid layer just because I want a layer that's going to be the exact same ratio as my comp. So it's just easier to make a solid layer. I'm gonna hit OK. At this point, it doesn't really matter what the color is because we're going to change that anyway. So I'm going to add a gradient ramp. And the important thing with like glass effects, especially for like this box, is to have this gradient of black and white, and you'll see why later. But for now, I'm just gonna make a gradient that's horizontal. Okay. Now I'm gonna make this layer 3D, because obviously we need to have 3D boxes up in here. And I basically just went to top view just to help me kind of like position stuff. So you can move this around. I'm just gonna leave it. And basically this whole comp, you're just constructing the box. You're not gonna be moving it. You're just constructing the box. So from here, I'm going to duplicate my layer. I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees. I'm just going to move it. Oopsies. Hello. I'm going to move it so it's lined up with the other one. I can kind of check based on like custom views. And when you're in custom view, you can kind of go to this camera tool here and you can kind of swing it around to make sure that there's no like flaws in it kind of thing. So you can do that. You can move it side to side. You can move in the Z space and move it in and out. Just in case you want to get a better look at it. But looks good. So from here, I'm going to duplicate again to make the other side. And I'm going to duplicate this guy to make zoom back. Cool. Okay, so I have my little cube here, and I'm going to go back to active camera. And it's very in my face, I know. But yeah, so when that's done, you can go back to your comp with your mask, or for me it's Jasmine. And then this is going to be my box comp. And I'm going to put this guy in here. And then there's two things. So, of course, I want to make it 3D. But if you make it 3D, just as is, and you try to do your rotation stuff, it's still going to be flat. So to get kind of like the actual like 3D elements to work, you hit this button. Now you can see that it's a 3D cube. So the two things. So make it 3D and then make it so it retains all the elements inside. And then you have your cube. And from here, we're going to go back in here. And this is where the whole like having a black and white gradient will come into play to make it look like glass. Because if we go here and we hit screen, you can kind of see, you can see inside where it's more black, it'll become more transparent. If it's more white, it'll be more opaque. And that's kind of the effect that we want. So we're almost done there. So if we go to top view, the last thing we kind of want to do is to make Jasmine look like she's inside the box. And we can literally just put her inside the box when we make her 3D. So now she's here, and all we gotta do is just put her within the confines of the box. So if I move the box in 3D space, you'll see she comes out of the box. If I move the box a bit too far, if I move the box a bit too forward, she's out of the box. So just make sure that as long as she's like inside the confines of your cube, you're golden. And then from here, it's just a matter of like positioning it. Oopsies. Positioning however you kind of want. So you can make the box like a little skinnier. So it's more of like a glass container. So you can kind of like shape it with the scale stuff. So you can scale the Z space, you can scale the width. Oopsies. Scale that way, or Z space. And then from here, so if you want to like also rotate it, the easiest way is to make sure that your anchor point is sort of like in the center of the actual 3D aspect to it. Because right now it's just centered on like the front of it. But if we hit Y and just move the anchor point, it becomes a lot more easier to rotate. And yeah, basically you're just kind of like shaping it. You can even see like when I rotate, the reflections kind of look like it is glass, depending on how you have your gradients. Let's say if I want it here, I can still go back in here. You can still kind of like play around with it. So say if I want it to be more like transparent, I can do that and it'll it'll affect Jasmine. So yeah, this is basically how you do it.